Okay guys, I'm back. So, Brenda will be home. Now what else is going on? Well, in cleaning out Mom's house, my sisters have not been getting along well. It's very stressful and they have very different opinions of how to do stuff and how to disperse stuff. And then my mom, cleaning out a house is difficult. And if your loved one or the person that was in the house has died, it's a lot easier because you just clean stuff out. But we don't have that option because Mom is alive, and having been in the house as recently as 7 or 8 months ago, she can't understand, first of all, why she can't go home, and second of all, why we won't let her look at her stuff and help decide. Well, if she decides, it's going to be, we're going to be there forever. And every day that I go in, it's a 45-minute drive each way. So every day that I go in to do anything, it's an hour and a half of driving. So between not feeling well and spending an hour and a half driving and then doing stuff at the house, Val and Brenda have been doing more of the sorting because it's more the girls' stuff, like the kitchen stuff and that. And then Amber and I have gone through afterwards, because they're both older, they get first and second choice anyway on stuff that we're getting rid of. And I've got third choice, so I went and picked through stuff that they'd sorted through. But we still have a long way to go. We're gathering stuff to have a garage sale or a yard sale. There's going to be a lot of stuff. But it's very time consuming, very stressful. Then you got the regular daily life of home ownership and having sons or having family. Worrying about your kids and my youngest grandchild, Shavara, just a few weeks ago had to have eye surgery. 3 years old. So she went through that with flying colors. Just one thing after another. Now we have the deadline to have Mom out of the house, not have her out of the house, she's out, but the house is going to be, how do I put this? We're working it out in a way that Amber and I will be moving. We're going to be putting our house on the market, likely next summer. Have a lot of repairs to do to it before we do. But come November 1st, we're going to basically take over Mom's house. I had talked to my parents about that house years ago when my dad was alive. When my dad was starting to think about moving into a 55 plus condo or something. I love living out in this little town, but the reality is, as my MS progresses, there could be an increased chance that I will likely not be able to drive in coming years, and we would likely want to move back into the city, so I would have access to taxis and buses. My mom and dad's house was custom built for them. It was built very well. My mom and dad were there every night, doing little things that the average house being built wouldn't have done, like when they insulated. My mom and dad would take extra scraps and put it behind all the electrical boxes and everything, where builders tend not to put enough insulation. Any of the boards that were used for framing or anything. If they had big wow in them or big bend in them or big knots, my dad would break them out. So the guys would get back to work and they'd have to replace a board or two, and then so there were no bad boards used on the house basically. And it was a well-built house, and they actually the guy that did the stonework, it's a type of limestone called Tyndall stone, and it's fairly common around here, but it's fairly expensive to work with. And they were supposed to put it on the front of Mom's house, Mom and Dad's house, up to the window level, and that was all, part of the original building price. Well, for whatever reason, the stonemason ran it up right to the peak of the house, right to the top of the house. Used about 6 times as much brick as he was supposed to. And of course he wanted paid for that. But the builder who had contracted to him said, no, you read the prints wrong, and so that's your fault. So it was, and this was back in '66, and it was a couple of $1,000 difference in pricing if they had charged my mom and dad for it. So the house is very solid. We know how well it's built. It doesn't need a lot. There's a few things that we're going to do with it. But it's also kind of forcing my hand, where things like this car, and the race car is going to be gone, but the B210 and the race car is gone. The B210, I don't know. Daisy is licensed, needs body work and paint again because it's starting to rust through its old 20 or so year restoration. But we're going to have to do something because I have 115 feet of driveway that's basically 2 cars wide. Tight 2 cars, 2 Datsuns wide, till you get past the house where it widens out to about 30 some feet. Can you tell how well Kyle has been taking care of the weed eating? But I'm going to have to figure out what to do with all these cars, because I only have 1 car garage. So what do I do? All that stuff. I probably have a dozen Datsun engines in my car shed. So all the ones on the driveway, plus the rotisserie car, Fair Lady, which I was hoping to be working on all summer, but shit happens and life gets in the way. I'm going to have to be trimming down cars a lot. There's enough room on my mom and dad's driveway to park 3 cars. Now, I don't really want to fill the front yard. It's a nicer neighborhood. Really wouldn't be fair to the neighbors. I don't want to do that. I overdid it when I bought these cars. So, soul searching time. Motorhome, we can park on the side of the driveway. That'll take up the space of 1 vehicle. The 1 car garage is actually a drive-through. Bo is barking at the neighbor. It's a drive-through. It has 8-foot high doors. We used to put our travel trailer through onto the patio in the winter time when I was growing up. So my dad had slightly higher doors put on. Actually, they're a little wider too. But the patio is a sunk-in patio, and there's no back lane. The house backs onto a city park. I could possibly build a garage back there, but to get anything in and out of it, I would have to drive through the main garage and across the patio. That's going to be a possibility. Maybe I'll put one of these metal structures up and cover it with metal. End up with a metal building to store stuff in. But yeah, definitely soul searching that I've definitely bit off a lot more than I could chew here. So, what do you do? I don't know. Push on. Head into the next step in life. So, anyway, I'm going to go. Yeah. Hiding. So, lots going on. I'll be back.